Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and Happy New Year, if I'm still allowed to say that, in February. Um, so I know I have not posted in a very long time. Life just got extremely busy and a lot of things just happened and I just didn't have the time to do it. And I know I had promised a lot of people that I would do this video a long time ago. So here it is, finally. And I think we should just get right into it so that the video is not long. So this video is basically about my online teaching experience. This will not be extremely into detail about the two platforms that I do teach on. I will do two separate videos about my experience on Preply and my experience on Italki. Because there are two different experiences that I had with both, and you'll get to find out which one I actually prefer out of the two. So I will be looking down onto my notes. So if you see me just looking down, just know that that's what it is. So let's get right into it. So I teach English online, one-on-one English classes. These are conversational type classes. It's not classes like in a classroom where you'll be practicing your grammar all the time and having a lot of written work. It's a lot of speaking. You're encouraging your students to speak English because in the countries that they live in, they don't necessarily get the time or are not able to practice speaking English. So they know all the grammar when they're writing it, but when it actually comes to speaking English, then that becomes the problem. So you are now encouraging them to speak by doing certain things like bringing about certain topics that you will discuss, having questions that you ask them, and then they answer those questions, and then you sort of have a whole conversation based on that. And sometimes if the conversation is like really interesting enough, you are able to talk about like 3 questions the whole lesson for like an hour. So it just really depends on what topic you choose. You look at the learner as well and see, you know, what are they interested in. You do ask them that within like the first few lessons, what they like, their typical interests, and according to the age group as well, what would be interesting to them. And then you sort of cater the lessons are based on that. So yeah, I teach English online one-on-one lessons on 2 platforms, which is Preply and Italki. So how I applied to Italki and Preply, very simple and easy. There is no magic spell, there's no connection involved. All I did is I went online and I googled Italki. I went onto their website. Then there's something that's written there that says become a teacher. On Preply, it's a similar experience. It's become a tutor, and then you are able to sign up. You fill in all your details, your biographical details, and you are able to sign up. Then what they ask you for is an introduction video. So this introduction video is basically you telling your future students why should they book you, what qualifies you to be able to teach them. So this is especially important with Italki because on Italki you get professional teachers and a community tutor. So if you're a professional teacher, they expect a whole lot more from you, first of all, because you do have to have your TEFL certificate for that or some kind of teaching qualification. And so your lessons have to be quite high level and would predominantly not necessarily just be conversational type lessons. So then with the community tutor, you have a little bit more, less pressure, let me say. Yeah, you have less pressure in terms of how you are presenting your lesson. So you then are able to just prepare questions and topics, idioms here and there, an article for them to read, those kind of things as a community tutor. Whereas on Preply, you already have learning plans that are on the system that you can use to teach the lesson. It's more structured there and all that. So yeah, I basically teach on those 2 platforms, Italki and Preply. I think right now I'm gravitating more towards Preply in terms of liking Preply than I am on Italki, and it's for a lot of reasons that I will get into in the video that I will shoot about Italki and Preply. And then another question that I normally get is, how is the schedule? So the schedule is up to you. You choose what hours you would like to teach according to your availability. So if you are available every single day from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock, you open up those slots so that your students are able to book, and then you will be able to teach if you have any bookings during those times. It's not like a call center situation where you just log in during those times and then lessons will come through. That only happens if you have your instant booking on Italki, where learners can book immediately and you have 5 minutes to prepare a lesson, and then they can have that lesson 30 minutes or an hour. But normally it's a 30-minute lesson that they book instantly. So that's basically how the schedule is. So for me, because I've been so busy with like teaching practicals and just work here and there when I like am contracted to work, I normally would teach either in the morning before I go to work, or I would teach in the afternoons when I come back from work, like afternoon up to late evening. So right now my schedule starts at 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. in the evening. So I go to work in the morning at the school that I teach at, and then I come back after gym and I start teaching at 6 o'clock. So I manage my time like that, because if I don't, then I won't be able to have time to teach. So I prefer for now not to teach a lot in the mornings. I've only opened up one slot at 4 a.m. To teach learners, you know, in the morning, if there's somebody who really wants to be taught in the morning, because that does happen quite a bit. Okay, and then in terms of like the money, I get a lot of questions regarding that, and obviously that is the reason why a lot of people would get into it in the first place. Yes, you would be passionate about teaching and helping people and all that, but it's also important for you to be getting something out of it. So for example, on Italki, in fact, on Italki and on Preply, you are able to set your own rates on both of those platforms. And depending on what your rate is depending on how busy you will actually be, especially in the beginning. Because remember, you don't have any ratings on your profile, and you don't have any hours or lessons under your profile, so that the students know that you are actually able to do what you say you can do. So it's almost like a thing where you have to sort of prove yourself a bit first, and then you can raise your rates as you go, or as you climb up the ladder. So for example, on Preply, for the last 2 months, I have been on $3 per 1 hour lesson. So imagine I was taking home $2 per lesson. And that's really not a lot, but I just told myself that that is building. My rate will definitely go up at the end of this month, because I have taught a lot of lessons and we have reached a few milestones within Preply, so my rate will go up there. Then on Italki as well, my rate is now ready to go up because I've taught quite a lot of lessons. Although it is a bit quiet on Italki at the moment, so I'm concentrating more on Preply, which is a lot busier. I have classes every single day there. So just to like not even like dwell too much on the whole money issue, the most I've made on Italki is about 3,000 Rand a month. And the reason for this is I don't have a whole lot of time to teach in a day, because I was very busy, for example, last year with my studies. I had like 6 modules, and I just couldn't allocate a lot of hours to the online teaching. So that's why I wouldn't be able to make all those big amounts of money that you see people talking about online. People talking about 12,000 a month, 25,000 a month, 18,000 a month. That's very doable if you are able to do it full time, or if you have a high rate during the limited hours that you are teaching. So for me, I don't have a lot of hours. I'm still trying to build myself up there. And once the hours do sort of get built up and my rate is up, then I will be making the big bucks. I will be rolling in it, okay? So yeah, that's basically what I can say with regard to the money. it's not a get rich quick scheme. I think sometimes people get that perception that it's a get rich quick scheme. You actually have to put in the work. You have to exchange your time in order to get the money. And there's also time involved in preparing for the lessons. Even though on Preply, for example, they give you the lesson plans, you still need to go through the lesson plans and see what's there so that you don't get a surprise during the lesson, as to what's going to happen. You need to be able to flow correctly in the lesson and tell the learner what they can expect during that time. And on Italki especially, Italki does not give you any lesson material. You have to make up your own lesson material, do the research online, join some Facebook groups for ESL teachers. They really help a lot because you are new to this, you have absolutely no idea what you are doing, and they have the lesson materials, they have the links, they have answers to questions that you may have as to how to deal with certain problems, because you will deal with certain things that are just absolutely unusual, that wouldn't normally happen in like a normal classroom situation. So it's really important to allocate enough time to be able to prepare for your lessons before and then conduct your lessons, because it brings about a lot of anxiety when you're not fully prepared. So yeah, and then do I enjoy it? I absolutely do. I really love it. Obviously, there are difficult days where I am exhausted from work or exhausted from whatever I was doing earlier on in the day, and I have to teach. I have to sit down and teach. And the learner doesn't know what I was doing throughout the day, so it's not fair on them for me to come online and not have energy while I'm teaching them and not be enthusiastic about whatever topic we're talking about. Even if it's at 9 o'clock at night, I really have to bring about that energy and be happy to be there, or look happy to be there, even if my whole body is aching and I just, aching from gym, so it's just, those are the challenges that you experience. But I definitely do love it. I enjoy it. I love it when my students tell me that, oh, now I can say this, oh, this is what I learned during the lesson. I feel like I'm improving. And also whenever we're having like follow-up lessons and I can see that or hear that the learners are no longer pronouncing things in a certain way, like the incorrect way, or using the words incorrectly, sentence structure is better, grammar is better. So I always love that. I'm always that type of person who loves to have a hand in elevating people and taking them to a place that they did not know that they could get to. So yeah, that's basically what I can say with regard to online teaching. I will put some links. I'll put the link to apply to Italki and the link to apply to Preply in the description box, so that you are able to just click there and then it'll take you to where you need to apply. I forgot to mention one thing. You don't need qualifications to be on both platforms. It is recommended that you have your TEFL certificate, and I do have a video on how I got my TEFL certificate for 400 Rand, about 400 Rand. I will link that video so you can watch that as well and perhaps get that TEFL certificate. But on Preply and Italki, you do not need it. It's just recommended. Obviously, if you have the TEFL, you can even like charge higher rates, because you have now proven that you have a qualification that qualifies you to do what you are saying you can do. So yeah, that's basically it. If there are any further questions, you are welcome to ask the questions in the comments below. Please like the video and share it to as many people as possible. It really does help my channel grow and to get the word out there for people who have absolutely no idea that they can make money online like this. It's exciting for those who would like to do it and are interested in it. And ask them in the description box and I'll be able to assist you. Thank you so much, and I'm so glad to be back. I will try to be as consistent as possible and post whenever the need arises, because my channel is not the type of channel where you need like a video every week. So there are a couple of videos that will come through now, especially the online topic, online teaching topic, where that is concerned. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and watching up to this point. Mwah.